Indiana Jones, Indiana. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we get to the heart of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And I'm Jamie, your visiting archaeologist.
Welcome back, Jamie.
Thank you.
You're visiting again.
I am.
We haven't seen you since I don't know, Belloc's tent? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, the Souls.
Well, I got to see Pete in person.
Oh, that's right. Pete saw you in San Francisco,
That's
but
right.
we didn't see you
Yes.
since Cairo.
Exactly.
Right.
We've been world travelers.
Yeah, such a globetrotter, yes. But we're glad you're here with us in, gosh, where are we? Oh, Pankot Palace for minute 41 of Temple of Doom, which begins with Chattar Lal saying that the British Empire makes them all feel like well-cared-for children. And it ends with him beginning to introduce the Maharajah of Pankot.
You get kind of an interesting cut here because right after Chattar Lal says it makes us feel like well cared for children, you cut immediately to a child that has being not cared for in any sense of the word. Like running and
rampant.
screaming away from dancing ladies.
That's
Well,
true.
I noticed Indy drops a little chortle here. Indicating he's aware of social cues. Chattar Lal has clearly had a vexatious day and is none too keen on this whole British subjugation thing. But Bloomberg, on the other hand, we discussed this a little bit last week, he has the exact same subjugating smile he's worn for the last, 5 minutes.
And probably 20 years.
Yeah, probably 28.
Yeah.
So he either isn't picking up on the social cues, or, as we said, he really just doesn't care.
Yeah, he's
Right.
got the air of him of look, I know they don't want me here. I don't totally want to be here, but we're all going to do this, and I'm going to smile through it. And it's all for the king at this point? Is there a king or
I
a
think
queen
it's the
right
king. The
Okay.
king at this point.
But what is he talking about exactly? Because he says they feel like well cared for children, and that it just seems like an ironic line for a guy that has thousands of slave kids in the basement.
Oh, that's such a good point.
now? Did I say children? I meant well cared for puppies.
Well, maybe he thinks that they're actually really well cared for. I mean, maybe he
Right.
just has a
They're
skewed
working.
view on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just all a big miscommunication.
Yeah. The summer camp flyer was really badly worded when they sent all their kids there.
Different values, right? Just different
Yeah.
values. But wait, Pete, I have something huge for you here. I mean, a huge conspiracy for you here at second 2 of this minute. And I mean like a Jimmy Hoffa deep throating, and it's all on a Zapruder film. It's like the biggest thing of the minute. So it's a whopper. I'm saying now, way in the background, behind Indy, Chattar Lal, and HMS Pinafore, is a curtain, and at second 2, this a head splits the curtain and is clearly spying on someone. And that's all I have,
God.
Pete. But I think you should run with that.
That's a really good catch.
Yeah,
that is.
second 2, there's the curtain, there's a head that peeks through, and I've never noticed it before. And I don't know, Pete, you're kind of supposed to run with that. I don't know what the conspiracy is.
You got to give
A
me a
little
minute
creeped
on that
out.
one. Yeah, I'll have to, yeah.
Oh, you guys should watch it. You should actually watch it right now.
What's amazing, what freaks me out is it's reminding me of The Shining, which Grady is in. Bloomberg as Grady in The Shining, and this totally looks like a Shining kind of thing. Like, I think if the second lasted the second longer, that guy would be like in a dog costume or something.
I think it's literally Scooby-Doo. Like the way it's filmed, it's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it definitely
It was the
is.
Prime Minister the whole time.
Also, we don't get to this until 2 minutes from now, but this is classic thuggy behavior that this guy's exhibiting too.
It is.
Ooh.
Why is there a prime minister in Pankot Palace? What is this rank?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, I
I
never
wondered
thought of
that
that.
last week, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to say it.
Well, see, I think they're just trying to go for a Nehru vibe. Like, he kind of dresses like Nehru, and maybe they're just like, oh, we need a prime minister.
Okay.
I mean, does that mean something different in this sort of situation? Like, is there, I mean, I don't know, is he like a Chamberlain or something? Or like a, is he Bib Fortuna, or is he?
Yeah, he's like the Bib Fortuna to the little kid,
right.
Yeah.
Maharajah.
Well, is he like an attaché? But if that's the case, then you'd think he would be on the British side, maybe. Like, is he supposed to be the liaison between the British and the Maharaja?
Well, it says, I read his Wikia page.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
So
Let's get back to
I have the
Scooby-Doo.
official source on this. But it says that he was the prime minister to the Maharaja, and it was largely apparent that he took care of most of the day-to-day operations of the region.
That's totally what it seems like. He seems like he's got a lot of power. Like, not necessarily like that he's the real power behind the throne or something, but maybe, like he's in charge. He's
asking about that last week. Like, is he the
Yeah.
real, is the Maharaja sort of a figurehead in this case?
Well, not to spoil anything, but yes. I also learned that Chattar Lal is a graduate of Oxford, which I also am, so
Hey,
now
there
I'm
you
on
go.
his side.
Did you also hear about Indiana Jones when you were at Oxford? Because he did.
I saw that, yeah. I want to know what his degree was. Wikipedia doesn't say.
Or well, let me ask you, do you have like a crest on your tie or suit?
Oh,
Or do
yeah.
you have, we talked about this last
Oh.
week. At Oxford, apparently they have crests.
And or stripes? Was that
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, were you a stripe or a crest kind of person?
Well, I have multiple items, but I have a tie that's from my college that's the stripes that was
Okay.
given to me as a gift.
Okay.
And then I have a scarf with a crest on it, so.
Ah, you got your bases covered.
If someone's tie had both the stripe and the crest, is that overkill, or is that like, oh, this guy just really has a lot of school spirit? Or
I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Because the stripes are always in your college colors, and like, for example, my friend went to Worcester College, and their colors are black and pink, and then their
Ooh, that's
crest
tough.
involves like red and black, and so I don't think that we could combine those things.
Wow.
God, that's a
Yeah.
hard homecoming.
Yeah, well,
Black and pink.
Yeah.
he's on the rowing team for them, and their uniforms are black and pink,
Wow.
and they're like
Which is-
skin tight lycra.
Sounds like a Pretty in Pink poster.
I was going to say, it sounds like, did Prince go there and design it?
well, all the balloons in Lao She's club were all black and pink, so maybe it was like the Worcester homecoming dance.
Oh my gosh, hidden connection.
It's all
Maybe,
coming together.
yeah. Lao Che went to Oxford.
Perfect.
No, I'm sorry, Worcester. Lao Che went to Worcester.
Yeah.
Which is the college at Oxford, so
Ah,
Oh, okay.
because Oxford is made up of colleges.
make that work like I knew what I was talking about, Pete.
Yeah, I know what you were talking about.
Willie shows back up, and she's all dolled up as a. Actually, I don't know. She's not. I mean, Indy compliments her and says she looks like a princess, but what is she? I don't know. This wasn't even my question, but like, did they just showed up there? I guess they just like dressed her all up. Like somebody gave her a bunch of stuff and taught her how to wear it and stuff, and
Yeah,
and got her all dolled up. All right.
Well, this goes back to our sort of Katenga cabin quarter theory,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Whereas you get to, there's a like maybe an enormous walk-in closet where you get to pick what it is you'd like. I think, Pete, you said, what'd you say last week? Like, oh, do I want to be, an ensign?
We know Indy had, like some choices.
Yeah.
Right.
He could have been a pirate or a
Marauder.
Yeah.
Chicago cop, anything.
Well, Indy has like a perfect suit that he apparently has carried, like jumping out of an airplane and rafting out of the village and stuff.
We were trying to figure out that too.
I call that collegiate tweed. It's
like
that,
It's
the tweed
professorial.
College,
It's professorial and collapsible, so it's easy to carry around when you're jumping out of planes and stuff. But he says just the most blankly kind, loving thing to Willie that he said in the entire movie. He says, "You look beautiful." And it's not only am I stunned by like just how openly, like it's not even like hedging or like, you look great or something, like he's just openly saying that she looks beautiful. And on top of that, she like barely notices that he says it because she is like enraptured with like her Maharajah lust. She's like, I think this guy's loaded. I think we're going to hitch my wagon to this guy. This is going to be fantastic.
She actually reminds me of Han Solo there. When Luke is like, oh, she's rich, and Han's like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
But this whole scene, like, I think Han's trying out something he learned. Like, we're talking about Indy's trying to reinvent himself in this movie. And it's Han, I think, trying out some Lando lines. Like, because this is exactly, you look beautiful. Like, he's about to say, you truly belong, with us here among the clouds. And then right after,
the palace.
like, he literally says, you look like a princess. I mean, that's you can't get more blatant a reference than that.
And that line actually kind of drives me bonkers because the way he says it, like she goes on talking about like, hey, I think it's a good idea to come here because this guy's loaded. And he says, you look like a princess. And that's like how he says it, which makes it sound like, as with Short Round, he's not listening to a word she's saying. He's still continuing his thought from before. You look beautiful. You look like a princess. But I realized if maybe if the writers had been on the set, they would have said, no, you look like a princess. Because she's saying, oh, maybe I should hitch my wagon to this Maharajah. And he's saying, well, you do look like a princess. You're all, you'd fit the part. So, like, I'm wondering if that's the intent of that line, and he just kind of, Harrison Ford sort of missed the point.
I thought that he was just dismissing her. Like, completely.
Yeah, just
like
look
maybe
pretty,
he
will
knew
ya?
that the Maharaja was a kid, and he was just like, okay, great, you look like a princess. Let's not have this conversation.
Well, I think they do, because as soon as she says, Mr. Lal, what do they call the Maharaja's wife? Indy and Bloombert both start cracking up and walk away.
Right, exactly.
Like they're like, ah.
There's something huge here that everybody is missing, and it just dawned on me, myself included, when I watched this minute. This is the nicest thing that Indy says, and it's a complete about face from how he's acted towards her for the rest of the movie. In the previous 40 minutes here, she's covered in gold.
Maybe he's actually talking to the gold. He's not even talking to Willie.
Yeah.
And yet the irony is we keep talking about how infamously materialistic Willie is. And all of a sudden Indy sees her and he's like, you look like a princess, you're slathered in gold.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden his little sex ears perk up.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they deserve each other.
This could work out great for them if they can just make it happen. It's poor crazy kids.
Is this the thing that made Indy though? Like, is this the moment like he decides, you know what, I'm gonna try being nice. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. And so this is the scene. And he's like, he's nice, and she completely ignores him, and she's like, oh yeah, whatever. Hey, this guy got gold?
Yeah. I have to say something fairly controversial. Jer might just hang up on the line. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. In this moment, when she's talking to Chattar Lal and she's asking about the Maharaj and stuff, I kind of have a crush on Willie. There's something very, very charming about her, like in her demeanor and in her, I don't know, like she's kind of eager and kind of like kind of poking around and stuff and trying to find stuff out, and she's kind of like, I don't know, I'm all a Twitter. I don't know what to say.
Tom, I mean, gold is bewitching. Okay.
I know, but not as
know.
bewitching as her eyes.
Well, she is. I don't know. I'll concede that. Okay.
She's slightly delightful here in a way that she hasn't been so far.
Sure.
And I haven't even, for the record, to catch Jamie up, I have not. I know that there's a lot of Willie hate in the world,
Right.
and I started off assuming that I was going to be one of those guys, and I think Pete's with me. That we're both sort of surprised at how much we do. I mean, she's definitely got some problems. There's a lot of potholes in the road, but there's a lot of stuff to appreciate too. So
I have a lot of feelings about her, if you would care to hear them.
please do. You're our guest here.
Specifically, what I appreciate about her, well, I agree there's lots of things that are annoying, but in movies that come out like more recently, when there's just one female character, she doesn't really have any nuances, She's always like a Mary Sue character.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Willie is allowed to be an annoying character. And also like to have warts, but also to have good things about her. And that, she loves money and she's a pain in the butt in the jungle, but she's also like resourceful and she gets things done when she needs to. And I find her to be an interesting character. So that's my feelings.
I think I'm with you.
That
I think
she's
I'm with
just
you.
not a classic female protagonist in an action adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I'm trying to remember why I hate her. Like I'm trying to like.
Well,
There are some dumb
where she's
parts.
like screaming on the elephant. Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That is terrible. Like the scene on the elephant, okay, but like, she's a city girl.
Right.
She's never been on an elephant before. I'd like to see the people who hate her start riding an elephant.
Yeah.
Can you
Jer.
can you please, Jamie, expound on resourceful? 'Cause I'm curious. I'm not being a.
No, that's fine.
What do you mean by resourceful? Because that's a great word to use, and I'm dying to know here.
Well, we don't, at least I haven't like looked up any of her backstory or anything like that, but she's an American who got herself over to Shanghai, had a career there, was in with all these gangsters, and is like very obviously on the make and trying to make money and make a name for herself, and seems to be pretty successful at it until Indy interrupts her life. And then when she's with Indy, even though she doesn't like doing the things she has to do later on, which I won't describe for spoiler reasons, she gets the job done, Like she puts her hands in those bugs, for example.
Mm-hmm.
God, wait a minute. I'm like I'm liberally conceding everything now. Tom, you're in love with Willie, and now she's
Jer.
resourceful. I agree. I mean, that's a great point you're making. That's why I can't argue with that, Jamie. It's frustrating.
Well, I think there's a dirty, rotten scoundrel situation going on here.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
as soon as Willie turns to, like, as soon as she talks to Chattar Lal and he says His Highness has not yet taken a wife, she turns and looks to Indy. Like, see, now I'm one
Yeah.
up on you.
Yep, exactly.
And so I think
right.
they've got like a professional rivalry going here. Like, who's going to earn the most gold? Who's going to be the most successful? And I don't know. I mean, she's Steve Martin.
And I know, Pete, you're only bringing that up to make the Star Wars connection because Senator Palpatine is like the butler in that movie or something in Dirty
Wait,
Rotten
what?
Scoundrels. Yeah, Ian McDiarmid is the butler
That's
in
amazing.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. So Han Solo's picking up on that and
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you craft it and write it down. I don't know.
And now Michael Caine's Star Wars canon.
That's right. Yeah, as is Steve Martin, which I
Right.
think also counts because they were with the Muppets on various occasions. So and Yoda's a Muppet, and so yeah, it all works.
See, I'm wondering, is this just a page out of Willie's flirting playbook, which is she is really flirting with Indy by letting him know that she's interested in another man. And we did see this a little bit when we first met Willie with Lao Che, where
Right.
it's like, okay, if she's quote, dating Lao Che, the first thing she comes up is she's like, please introduce me to this handsome American across the table. Is that
That's
just
true.
her play? Is that just, that's
Yeah.
just how she plays game?
But I don't think it's because she's like in love with Indy. I think that she is, using him for her own ends.
Yeah, the term like Willie and in love,
Right.
that's never crossed my mind. I mean,
Right. And like I don't think that he's in love with her either. I think it's a opportunity.
yeah, diamonds and gold.
Yeah. In an
Yeah.
exotic location.
God, okay. I'll sign up for that. That sounds fun.
Jared's not going to sleep well tonight. He's going to toss and turn, like, what do I believe?
You guys are like rope-a-doping me.
I like that we end with a cliffhanger here about the identity of the Maharaja, and I can only assume that he's going to be a huge guy with a machine gun arm. Because of all the leftover stuff from Raiders that they never got in there. This will be the machine gun arm guy.
Who do you guys think all the other people at this table are? Are they just like local nobles or
They all look like they're wearing disguises.
they do
It's an Agatha Christie movie.
the chubby guy's mustache is like not real. That is out of control.
Yeah, that's like
Also, that is definitely a white guy.
You see that in Silver Lake and Williamsburg a lot.
Yeah.
Those types of mustaches with the wax and the curly cues things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're in like a sort of alt country indie band.
Yeah, I got served a drink by that guy the other night.
I was wondering the same thing though. Like, all that we know about Pankot is that it was, deserted for I forget how long they said it was, but and like there's a new Maharaja's there, and all of a sudden it's
Right.
like just filled with people, and I don't know who these people are. Like,
Yeah.
if they're people from the palace or if they're just visiting from other, principalities or something or what. I don't know.
Are they all complicit in what's going on here? Are they?
That's the other
funded-
question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
They seem like
do they
nice
need to get
people.
rounded up?
I don't want to believe that those musicians are evil in any way. They seem so happy and so nice. They're having a ball.
How many people are under the influence of something that they don't have control over too?
Right.
Like,
True. Yeah.
are if they are involved, are they evil, or are they is everybody DSI, like under Shiva influence?
Or is it like if you've ever gone to Vegas, and they have professional entertainers. No, I'm not talking about that.
Of course not.
Pete, no, like if you go into like one of those higher end Vegas nightclubs, there are literally people who are put there, and there's like a several women, a group of guys, and they're like, hey, let's toast, let's all get a round of shots for everybody. And
Oh, I thought you were
it's just,
like,
like,
about
fun.
magicians. I was totally. I'm sorry. I'm with you now. Okay.
So you're saying all these guys are like escorts?
No, not escorts. I mean, just like they're just like like professional entertainers. It's like
They're
you got the
magicians.
musicians.
They're there to kick off
Yeah.
the party.
They're there to
Yeah,
kick off the
exactly.
party, and like what? There's always a chubsy ubsy. There's always a like the big. Yeah, I mean, there's he's introducing the dishes and that kind of thing, and it's just a party. Imagine it's Chattar Lal and Blumbert and the Maharaja.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be
not
horrible.
like that would be horrible.
Yeah.
So these guys
Yeah.
are trying to get you to upgrade to the higher end bug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They just get the party kicked off. It's like somebody starts dancing. We don't even know. Maybe they don't even want to eat this stuff, but they're paid to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like in the speaking of Steve Martin, it's like in The Lonely Guy where you could rent like cutouts of Gene Hackman and other celebrities to come to your parties and stuff. But a little better than that.
My best friend used to have a cardboard cutout of Han Solo that we would roll out for sleepovers. I usually like dressed in women's clothing.
Oh my God.
But her
That's
dog was
awesome.
really scared of it, so we had to ultimately get rid of it.
Well, this is something we talked about last week, and I don't know if we reached a conclusion. Is this, just a daily supper time ritual?
It's hard to tell because they've
Yeah.
had visitors. We know that Blumbert's a visitor.
Right.
And
Did they
But I
just
don't
whip
know.
this together?
Or is that what the guy looking out the curtain is for?
No, it feels to me like it's a very like colonial, like this is how we interact with the colonial people. You know, we have these dinners together every so often.
Oh, like putting on a show for the...
Yeah, like, oh, let's pretend
Yeah.
like we eat snakes and eels and all this stuff for the British.
Well, yeah,
That's
that
funny.
too. But also, like, this is when we invite, you know, our colonial overlord over and we chat politely like we're on equal terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's probably why Chattar Lal is just so furious. And now he's
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. We have to do
Gotta
the
get
whole
out the
thing
good
with
china."
the snakes. Yeah.
Well, can we like reframe this movie so that Chattar Lal is like a hero of Indian independence? Like he's fighting against the colonial
Yeah.
oppressor?
Yeah.
I kind of take him that way right now,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't said a non-snotty digging thing to Bloomberg.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
They seem to have a long history. I wonder if they went to Oxford together.
Oh, that'd
Wow.
be funny.
Yeah.
Blumberg copied off him in math, and now it's all awkward.
Yep.
Well, what does the Maharajah do if he wants a glass of Ovaltine? Like in the middle of the night. Is there all this pomp and cellos?
I assume that, yeah, he has servants. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those ladies dance it in for him.
Yeah,
What is up
spilling
with
it.
all the dancing women in this movie, by the way?
We were
Like,
hoping
there's
you
so many
could help
musical
us.
numbers with dancing women.
Yeah.
It's joyous.
This is where they invented the dab move.
Oh my god. Well, if nobody has anything else for minute 41...
Wait. This just
apparently-
in from Professor Chrissy Porter.
Oh my-
Oh. Okay.
Just a few minutes ago, Indy was being very unsympathetic to Willie.
Uh-huh.
And now the scene is directed as if Indy is attracted to Willie. However, Willie reverts back to her sort of pursuing the rich men that we're used to at the beginning of the movie. And now Christy is singing A Tale as Old as Time.
You know what creeps me out? I know for a fact that this is not a live show, but Christy always seems to know exactly what we're talking about. Like she's
True, like
listening in or
that.
something.
That was very prescient.
That was.
Yeah.
Well, she's the person behind the curtain peeking through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put
Do you
it
have an
past her.
earpiece on or something?
But see, I think Indy for the first time has seen himself in Willie, and so he's just falling in love with himself.
It's
Like
true.
he all of a sudden sees this gold lust, and he's like, "Oh, I kind of like this."
We got a lot in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same
Yeah.
time, maybe that's why he's repulsed by her too. At the same time, like you hate what you see in yourself and other people, and yeah,
That's giving him a
hard
lot
time.
of credit.
yeah, that's pretty sophisticated.
I think he sees gold.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Jamie, where can people? What are you working on these days? You're our archaeologist friend. Do you have anything cool going on?
I've been helping some people set up a lab for doing thermoluminescence testing on pottery,
That
which is
sounds
a
cool.
way to date
Wow.
the age of pottery.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's been good. Hoping to do some field work in Lesotho in May
Oh, cool.
with a friend of mine who's a postdoc at Cambridge.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your life sounds more interesting than mine.
Well, I've told you the exciting parts of my life now.
Oh, cool. You saved those for the air. That's good.
There's like a big drought in Lesotho, right? I think because they sold all their water rights to South Africa.
Well, interestingly,
Is that
part
right?
of my friend's PhD research was about the area that they then flooded to make these dams to create huge hydroelectric power stations, which has now created a lot of problems for the landscape there. So I've been to Lesotho one other time. It's a really interesting place.
Wow,
Cool.
I bet.
Yeah, highly recommend learning more about it.
And if you want to learn more about us, why don't you come visit us at our Facebook page, Indiana Jones Minute and the Listener's Crusade. Join the conversation, and you're going to have the time of your life. Guaranteed. And also, we highly recommend you please come back tomorrow for minute 42 of Temple of Doom here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Well cared for children.
And dancing ladies. Dancing ladies.
He actually says children.
Yeah. He did.
Children.
He says children.